Bobby Preston.
Simon Mclean.
How are you this morning?
Unbelievable, thank you very much indeed.
Sorry about all the hassle getting set up. You just can't get the workers these days.
Not at all. When you've got such a big staff for the filming set up, it's understandable.
Yeah, getting them all
having to
organised.
explain to everybody individually and then together about what you're doing, I can understand it. So the last 3.5 hours, it's not time wasted. It's preparation well thought out.
I'm used to it now. I'm used to it. I need to help with this.
You must be.
There we go. He's very quiet for a change as well.
Really?
Hi. Bobby, we're over here in West End.
Yes.
Your lovely house. I should explain it's your house because I'm not sure what backdrop we've got here, but it's rather unusual. What's the?
We call that a wall.
What's the story
See, we have 3 walls and then a window wall.
Right.
Right.
You remember we can edit this?
Yes, I know.
What's the story with the memorabilia behind me? And
well, they're not. I had the 2 film production companies for over 22 years, and I started a collection of the weapons, swords primarily. In fact, it goes back even longer than that because I had the swords from the Highlander, which I was involved in, minuscule. Yeah. And the people knew that I collected swords from movies, and over the last, since the Highlanders, 40 years ago now, since then to now, there have been so many movies that swords have been involved in.
Yeah.
Kill Bill, The Vikings, and Braveheart, to name a few.
Yes.
The swords come from many movies over the last 40 years. I started collecting them myself since the Highlander, and since then other people in the industry got to know that I was creating a sword collection, so I've been sent swords from all over the world from various movies, and hence a collection. I have 170 swords now.
For goodness sake.
I know.
Well, maybe do a special episode about the sword.
Just the swords alone, yeah.
Aye,
yeah, we don't call this a dining room, we call it the armoury. Because there are 38 of them in here.
Okay, what about the shield, Bobby?
Well, they're similar. They all came as gifts from,
right.
And the Targes came from the Highlander and Braveheart, that's the Scottish shields. But all the rest came from various different movies. If you really wanted to go into them in detail, I could explain every movie, but it would take most of the day to do that. So.
And there's loads of stories behind it. I mean, I've heard 2 or 3 of them.
There's a story behind every sword,
when you're training kids and when, they're great talking points, they're great items. Fantastic. And we really want to get into the sport and walking football in particular, because I know you've got strong views about it.
Yes.
What about your background in sport then? Because I see another trophy there, a naked man behind us.
Well, you could describe it as it's Eugene Sandow. He was the world's strongest man at the turn of last century.
Okay. So Bobby,
yes.
We really want to get to the walking football, because I know that this is what prompted this interview this morning, is you berating me about the walking football. Before we do that, tell us a wee bit about your background in sport then, and be conscious we've only got 2 or 3 minutes to do that.
Well, 2 or 3 minutes is hardly enough because I've been involved in weight training since 1958, so that'll be 65 years next year, the end of this year. It's quite a long time.
You gonna hang it?
Well, I'm beginning to get a grasp of it, yeah. I spent more time coaching than I did competing because I've lived long enough to be able to do that. And I've coached people here and all over the world, almost every country in the world, or at least from every country in the world, and on behalf of almost every sport, including currently I'm training equestrian people, which is the first time I've done that. I've had swimmers, ice skaters, divers,
golfers,
cyclists, golfers,
And rugby is a big part of it as well.
Well, yeah, rugby and football and boxing now, because boxing's come more up to speed. When I started weight training, people frowned upon it because it was more acceptable to the ex-army, ex-military people.
Yes.
But then that was in the 50s. Yeah. And then people were suspicious of it, the late 50s and through the early 60s. And then it became acceptable between mid-60s and mid-70s, courtesy of Arnold and the other brigade that were involved in it. But they're bodybuilders, they're not strongmen. Strongmen describe bodybuilders as cream puffs.
Okay.
just the same as real soldiers describe the Marines as cream puffs.
Okay.
It makes everybody unpopular with everybody else.
The way detectives would describe wooden tops.
Yes. Very similar.
Still.
Right, that's it. So, but now I'm specialised in creating a lifelong weight training specialisation for everybody, and that I have a limited age range. I won't train anyone any younger than 9 months old.
Right.
And the oldest person I've trained is only 86.
Okay.
So within that...
So it's quite strict. Are you quite strict with that?
Oh yeah, I stick to that.
Yes.
I try and stick to that. Although I'll make exceptions. If I get someone at 90 or 100, which I'm looking forward to doing, then I'll start them. But more recently, this last 5 years, I've started a number of people who are long retired, well into their 70s.
Before we go into that, let's look at that age range then, because I think your father was a record holder.
Strongman, yeah. He had the world record deadlift for the over 75s.
Okay.
That was back in 1985. He pulled 140 kilos, 308 pounds, which was quite good for 75-year-old.
Not bad.
Pulled it in his birthday.
And we've gone full circle with that because we were in the papers recently, you were all over the news, and it's all over the internet about your grandson.
Yes, aye. My younger grandson, Wee Preston, he's established a world record deadlift for the youngest ever official deadlift, which is it's on the internet, you can see it, but the press covered it and BBC did an interview with me about it. I'm very proud of him.
Was it authenticated then? Is it
official?
yes.
Oh, aye, yeah. It's been adjudicated by an IPF referee, International Powerlifting Federation referee. It's a strict deadlift.
I knew that.
What about Norris McWhirter? Did he verify it?
That would be tricky.
Well, he's dead, so I didn't contact him because I don't know. I was in touch with a medium some years ago, but I don't have their current phone number. So contacting Norris would be quite a stretch today.
So tell us about Preston then, because most people watching this, if anybody ever watches it, of course, will have grandchildren, because the walking football's that kind of demographic.
Yes.
So tell us the benefits for Preston then.
Well, he's got great circulation because he's young. I mean, he turned 2 week and a half ago.
Okay.
And since
so is that a different age bracket he's in now? Need a new world record?
Yes. Well,
right.
he's already, he can pull double what he pulled for the initial world record because he continues training. But the main thing about weight training, any exercise in fact, is the circulation factor.
Okay.
And circulation's everything. And people don't realise how important circulation is. I know you do, and I know Chris does, because Chris is an athlete and comes from an athletic background.
Sorry, I didn't realise it was the comedy channel we were on there.
Sorry, I thought you were having a wee fit.
I
It's just that, well, I know Chris is from a boxing
He could be
background.
an athlete, he could be. There's no question of that.
No, he is an athlete. He's a former athlete.
He's got athlete's foot, maybe that's where the height
Well,
was.
some weeks ago, Chris was here the first time I met him, and when we took Chris in
That's
the
when
gym,
he started setting up for this morning.
he was happy to train. So
Right.
he's been lifting weights for some time too, and he has weights in his own home. So Chris understands the circulation factor. See, circulation is very important. It's like any vehicle. The human body is just a vehicle, in actual fact. And if you left a car for years and didn't use it, start it, move it, it would have serious problems to get it going again. And the same applies to humans. But as people get older, they don't realise that they become sedentary. They don't have the same exercise that they had when they were kids at school, used to play football at lunchtime, playtime, all of that. And then even when they started work or went to universities have got gyms and various sports teams, judo, boxing.
Played football, most of
Football,
us.
rugby too. So, but then as people get into their 30s and 40s, they tend to slow down considerably. Mainly because they have to pay attention to their own kids by that stage.
Yes.
They're married, they have their own kids, and they're paying attention to the kids and trying to introduce their own kids to sport, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they neglect themselves. Now, you're involved in walking football, which is fantastic for the human race.
And Chris.
small section of the human race. My eyesight isn't great. I'm going blind. I have macular degeneration, so walking football is not a lot of use to me, because once the ball goes 3 or 4 feet away from me, I've got no idea where it is.
Right.
And I never particularly liked football anyway. I don't understand why they give it the title, The Beautiful Game. It's never been any good to me.
Okay.
And it's becoming more confusing for people all over the world because there is VAR that they've introduced now.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be you could blame a referee for everything.
Yes.
But now they don't know who to blame. They're blaming it's the cameraman, it's the linesman shouldn't have called it, the guy shouldn't have done it, the other bloke shouldn't complain about it. There's a variety of people who are
It
now.
used to be simple.
Used to be the referee, yeah, kill the ref, kill the ref, kill the ref, which was very simple.
Yeah.
But now the complexities have been introduced because, in my opinion, it's not a clever game, really. And it's always been indeterminate as to who won and who lost. You got a lucky goal or you got a goal disallowed, and it wasn't, my opinion, it was a good goal, but the ref's opinion, it wasn't a good goal.
Because in your world, Bobby, you either lift the bloody thing or you don't.
It either leaves planet Earth or remains stuck to planet Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Clear cut.
So, yeah. But how many people are involved in or have played football out of the British population, the UK population? There's 66 million people here. Mm-hmm. So I'd say probably 20 million of them have been involved in football at some time. And still have an interest in it, following it, watching it.
Taking your kids to it.
Yeah, all of these angles with football.
And with women's football as well, we've started to see girls taking up football at school and all the rest of it.
Yeah, well, I see, that's a very delicate subject because just the statement, women's football, I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore with the gender brigade. And if it should just be football's football. So, for my money, all sport should be played by all people. And if women want to include themselves in a sport, I'll be the first to encourage them. But they have to compete with the men in whatever the sport is, because the sport's already been established.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to compete to be able to become as good or better.
Yeah.
Competition breeds improvement all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Women are playing women, so the sport doesn't have a long history. And you get some people would say, well, if women were to play men, women would lose all the time. Might be the case, but because that's not allowed, then we'll never know. And again, there's an indifference. But
do women compete with men in weightlifting competitions?
No, and they should. They should.
Okay.
And don't think I'm not a feminist. I mean, my mum was the cleverest person I've ever met in my life.
Right.
And I've met some serious industry leaders.
Yeah.
Here and all over the world in various businesses. Some really clever people. Couldn't hold a candle to my mum. So I have great respect for women. I was astonished back in the late 60s through the 70s when women were demanding equal rights. I understood them to be superior beings until then. So why they wanted to drop their standards is beyond me. It's still beyond me. I don't understand it at all. But in the physical realms, women are also more powerful than men. They don't display it with power lifts. But the fact that they can have children without an anaesthetic is beyond your imagination.
So you've got daughters?
Yes.
Have they been involved in,
I have sons
your
and
world of
daughters,
sport?
Yeah, both my daughters lift weights.
Right.
At their level, for their purpose. Yeah. But
and I think that's the message, is that the exercise of lifting weights can be utilised for just about anything.
Yes.
Even just lifestyle, just to keep healthy.
Just?
Yeah.
Just?
Well, I don't mean just as it's minimalised, but just for that small spectrum, without all the other bits, advantages that sport, competing, the socialising and all the rest of it that goes on in the world of powerlifting. But just simply is maybe a better word than just, simply to stay healthy, to maintain good health.
Again, circulation's everything. So anything that improves your circulation and maintains improved circulation is of great benefit. And you have where is your base for walking football?
We have several, but the Pollock United walking football is at Nethercreeks in Pollock.
Right, and is that your main base? Or
It is for Pollock United, yes.
Right, okay. Do they have a gymnasium there?
Yes. It's slightly complex, Bobby, that Pollock United are in the process of acquiring Nethercreeks from Glasgow Life. So it was a Glasgow Life centre, and it's now been taken over by our community company, but that's a process, not an event.
Well, there's another good point.
So we have midweek access. We don't have midweek access until tea time every night, and we have full weekend access for football parts, outdoor sports, but we don't have full access to the facilities. But it does have a gymnasium.
So you don't have full access to it?
Not yet.
How stupid is that, Simon?
Well, it's not that stupid actually, because
Really?
Yes, there's lots of financial strands of it that when we take it over, it's a big commitment, as you understand, for 25 years.
So there are commercial complexities involved.
Yes.
Right.
And it's a stage. It's very much staged.
All of which should be covered by local government in any case. Glasgow Life, for example, they should fund everything that's to do. They don't seem to have an overall grasp and understanding of the human being. Because if more attention and money was spent in that various sports, for example, but primarily weight training, then there would be less cost in the NHS as a result of people being ill or infirmed, because people would be in much better condition for much longer life than what they are.
It's an investment.
Of course it is, yeah, it's a protected investment.
If I tell you that at Bella Houston, they don't have the suite open yet, the health suite in there, and the swimming pool's only restricted access, and the reason we're given for it is staff, that they can't afford to recruit the amount of staff required.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now there's another interesting point. A solution for the NHS presently would be volunteers. And that's not as crazy as what it sounds, because it's my contention that the NHS are struggling so bad that they should declare a state of emergency, which is a natural fact right now. We're so far behind with operations and waiting lists, and people lack of attention, lack of staff, lack of premises, lack of everything. They should declare a state of emergency and request that all former NHS workers volunteer 1 shift a week. All retired GPs, retired surgeons, retired nurses, 1 shift a week for nothing, just come and help. And that would pull things back to normal much faster at no additional financial cost. But I don't know why they don't do it. And people, I've said that to people and they've said to me, but what if they don't come? Fine, if they don't come, then you understand the mindset of medical people. It's not a vocation. They just wanted the money and they don't want to come back and give anything back. So either way.
I think you'd have a flood of help, but I'm not sure it would address the problem. I don't know, Bobby, but my feeling is that we've got ambulances sitting outside waiting it's access to the hospital, not getting in and getting treated. It's getting into the hospital in the first place.
So freeing up beds for the elderly.
Social care is taking us to the real problem.
Again,
and that's
these people would volunteer.
The bottleneck is to go to people's homes.
Yes.
People need to be able to come out of hospital and be safe at home.
Somewhere.
And I don't think the infrastructure's there to do that.
Well, you could get more people in their own homes.
Absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, really.
I have. I've looked into this.
Because they don't tell you on the sports pages, and that's all I really.
No, I know, and it's walking football that's your main driver. But it's just.
So go back to what you were going to ask me there. We got
20
distracted.
million
We've got Nethercreeks, we've got a gym.
Right.
After I spoke to you last week, I phoned our man Andy on the ground who put the whole thing together. He said, we've got the gym, the council have put obstacles in the way for health and safety, the machines need to get checked, you need to get people trained to be in the gym, etc, etc. You know where I'm going with all this.
Yeah, I know.
But let's say we got rid of all that over the next 6 months and we managed to get the gymnasium open.
No, it's the council should be doing it, not you.
Well, it's us that are running Nethercreeks, and that's the process that's taking place. This is happening throughout the city. They're giving these places to local trusts, to charities who are in the community, like Pollock United Trust, and we then run it within the community.
Because the council, local government are stepping aside.
It's the old arm's length stuff, remember?
Yeah.
Liability.
Sure. Well, they don't, if they're not overseeing it, they should have no opinions on it then. They can't make any restriction clauses. Because if they're not handling it, it's got nothing to do with
it. It's a lease. So there will be terms. But let's say we get past that then, which I'm sure we will at some point.
I know, but it'll take too long to get past it, and I don't know how many people will suffer during the interim. If it was just corrected overnight and people were put in there who can handle it, the machines are not necessary. Free weights is the way to go. And for people, I train half a dozen people that are between 70 and 87.
Okay.
Never lifted weights in their life.
Right.
And now they never miss a workout. Because they operate at their level. And their personal best is their personal best.
Okay. And the session is tailored for their needs.
Every one of them, yeah.
Abilities.
Yes.
Starting point.
Yes.
It's
And progressive
specifically.
resistance.
Yeah.
I operate 10-week training cycles, then 2 weeks active rest, which allows the joints to
I'm
heal.
good at that
things.
bit. I'm good at that
The
bit.
active rest.
Aye.
No, just rest.
That's
you're
my
good at.
speciality.
Active rest is beyond you, Simon.
Okay,
It's just
fair
rest.
enough.
Just rest. No, Chris will understand what active rest is. So, but walking football is no use to me. But even in the stats that we've discussed here, that would tell me that 86 million people are not interested in football. If 20 million people are interested in it, 86 million are not.
No.
What is it?
46.
So they would be, maybe they don't want to go out in the wind and rain during the winter season, which I think is local in any case, that have a sport like that in the season. So we can only play when the weather's bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who thought
Walking
that.
football's all year round, certainly.
All right, okay, walking football is, but actual football
Yes.
is not, it's crazy.
We stop in the summer.
Right. Incidentally, for the NHS recall for people to volunteer, this would be a perfect time to do it, because all the retired surgeons and consultants and things, they won't be playing golf from now to next April, May. So
Right.
they've got free time in their hands. Instead of them sitting at home, bored, getting old, nothing to do,
Up the shops.
they could be dipping their toe in the water and get back in the playing field again here and help people. So that's why that should be pushed, in my opinion.
We're not going to extend this to all police officers and detectives, are we?
Why not? We're short, aren't we?
Because I quite like doing this.
Yeah, I
Playing
know.
walking football.
I know, but one shift a week,
Nah.
you wouldn't do it.
Nah, I couldn't do it now, Bobby.
Yeah.
Because my brain set's still set back 20 years ago. I couldn't do what
You
they
see,
do
all the
now.
more reason you should be doing it, because, well,
I'd be in jail.
I've seen some of the police that are wandering about.
I'd be in prison. I spoke to a sergeant last week before, and he told me that he's got 26 years service.
Right,
And he had 8 cops on the shift.
right.
Between them, they didn't have 26 years service.
See. and you're...
And that helps explain what the problems are.
Yes, I know. So bringing back some of the old timers, that should be across the board, including the building trade. See if you were to bring back senior tradesmen as master tradesmen, just to oversee the current tradesmen and apprentices.
Yeah.
The standards would improve greatly, instantly,
Yes.
and these people would live longer and be able to do it longer. Even one shift a week, volunteering. So at no financial cost, this can
Because
be
it
done.
would help the industry, no
Yeah,
question.
for sure.
And it would help all of them
Yeah, we're supposed to be short
by
of
giving them a
houses.
purpose.
Yes,
And getting them engaged again.
Correct.
And meeting people and training people.
correct.
Yeah.
And then if they trained with weights 3 other times a week, they would live 10 years longer.
Now, is
And
that a good thing?
They wouldn't, yeah,
I
well,
know some of these folk.
of course it is. But they wouldn't require the same medical attention that they require by sitting on the couch.
This is just joined up thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll keep it simple, because when people introduce complexities, it's because they've got something to hide or there's another ulterior motive. Because simplicity is the way to drive everything, including business. And I've had a few businesses.
Yeah. So tell us about this model then for the walking football, which you couldn't do now even if you wanted to.
That's right.
Are you suggesting that we have something to do with weights, with that demographic then, with the people that are getting on in life and don't want to be sedentary.
I said that, yes.
So we set up...
Well, you have a gym in any case.
Right. Did you not do something like this at Houston a long, long time ago?
45 years ago, I started a pensioners club at lunchtime, Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple of older guys come in the first day. And then the second, that was on the Tuesday. And on the Thursday, they brought a couple of their pals whom they had known or worked with over the years. And within 8 weeks, we had 40 guys. I couldn't get them all in the gym at the same time. So I had to put them in 3-man squads and operate a circuit of weight training with them and then bring the rest in. So it took me 4 hours to do a 2-hour session with these guys.
The numbers.
Yeah, the number. And they were loving it. But by the second month of doing this was only done because the manager at the time was Willie Baxter, who himself was a sportsman. Yeah, 5 times British wrestling champion and Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games wrestling referee. So he understood sport, obviously, and he knew how to run a centre. And he made allowances for these people. But these guys were coming in, roaring away, training with each other, competing against each other with their training. Weight training has such a variance. You can alter the weight on the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You can adjust the number of times you lift that weight,
mm-hmm.
repetitions. You can adjust the order in which you lift the weights doing different exercises. You can adjust the number of sets. 2 sets of 10, 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 10, 1 set of 10. You can operate a circuit with 1 set of everything, one after the... There's so many variations in weight training, and it's all indoors in comfort, not outside in the pouring rain with the wind in your face.
Yeah.
So it suits older people down to the ground.
And the teams of 3 brings that side into it. You swap them about and you get to meet people.
2 people to load and catch while the other one's training. Then the next one goes, and they operate a system with each other. You can, it's like lighting a touch paper with a firework. You can stand back and watch it just explode in front of you.
Because the benefits are instant.
Yeah, and their knowledge of anatomy and physiology, it goes beyond any stretch, any university education, because it's live and active. It's real.
Yes.
It's not out of a book. People say to me, in the 65 years I've been at this, people say to me, could you write me out a workout? Why? So you can read that. Reading it.
I could do that. Would that make me active then if I was reading it and not doing anything?
Well, see, that's a problem. It wouldn't. But people think that's, you write out a workout, you give it to someone, and they lay it on the sideboard and say, I'm going to do that.
One of these days.
Once I get round to that, man, will that be...
Once I get fit enough to
I'll
do
be
that.
on fire when I do that, which I can't wait to do. And years pass and they die. And
we get the opposite with walking football, Bobby. We get people say, well, I'm not there yet for walking football. I'm still too fit for walking football.
Really?
Aye.
Yeah.
What is it you do? I don't do anything, but I'm too fit for walking football.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm too young.
I'm too young.
Yeah, I'm too young.
Aye.
Well, I'm too blind, so I can't do it. But what I can do is far more beneficial, in my opinion, and it should be exposed greatly. So people should be doing it everywhere.
That pensioners club that you started, obviously, it was over 65s.
Yeah.
Was Houston quite new then, 45 years ago?
No, it opened in 69.
All right, okay.
Yes, a long time ago now.
53 years.
Yes, so it's and I coached there for 12 years.
Right.
On and off intermittently amongst doing other things. But I mean,
weight training.
Yeah.
Coached weight training.
Yeah, powerlifting.
Right.
Strength training.
Strength training.
Yes. And people, I have my son-in-law's dad never lifted a weight in his life.
Okay.
Sedentary occupation.
Accountant?
No, he was a director of Arnold Clark.
All right.
Right, in the motor trade all his days. Member of Glasgow Golf Club, fine, upstanding, great guy.
Right.
Never lifted weights in his life. He started training about 18 months ago now, and he's now
an absolute bastard.
3 times more powerful than he was then, and can't believe it, and has far more stability. He doesn't walk delicately anymore because his balance isn't great. He walks like a gorilla now.
Right.
He's very
Got
proud
core
of
now.
what. Yes, yes. And when he goes to play golf now, he goes in the changing room and does all his warm-up exercises before he goes out to the first tee.
Mm-hmm.
And people have been asking him for months, what are you doing? I'm just warming up. And at first they thought, Paul's losing it, you know, it's his age, it's an age thing. But now,
They're all warming up.
yeah, his drive's improving. So they all want to know, how come...
You're hitting the ball so far?
Yeah, how did that come about? Oh, it's just my power's up because I'm strength training.
Right.
Strength training, right. Now, he doesn't promote it because he's not been involved in it for long.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want
And
to
he
coach.
wants to win. He
wants to win, yeah.
Doesn't want everybody doing
So
it.
he doesn't miss a workout, and he trains 10 weeks, a couple of times a week, then 2 weeks active rest, then the next cycle 10 weeks. He's battering in now in the winter because it's the off-season for golf. He really wants his power up for next spring.
For the next spring,
Really up. He wants his bench press up, his squat, his deadlift up. His pulling exercises are phenomenal now. In fact, he trains with his son, young Mark, who's a senior accountant, corporate tax accountant. And he, in the pulling work, he's using the same stress factor, the same weight load that Mark's using for his pulley work. All the pulls that he's doing.
Many years between them?
40. So, and that was never the case. I mean, when he started...
And he had never pulled a weight, lifted a weight?
Never lifted a weight in his life. No, never ever lifted
So
a
where
weight.
does he do this? Does he come here? I know you've got the gym out the back here.
Well, he trains at my gym or in any other gym, but he prefers training in my gym because I'm there and I'm a driver for him. He gets away with nothing when I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
So he can't miss a rep or have a long rest or anything. But he had operations on his neck and his right shoulder, so he lost a lot of power on his right side. And he's right-handed. His primary force arm was his right arm. But it was always weaker. You know, in the pull downs, he couldn't pull it the same way his right as his left. But now it's gone the opposite way because I've focused on his right shoulder, bicep and tricep. Now he's far more powerful on his right side than he is on his left side. You can see it when he's bench pressing. He leads with his right all the time. So now we're having to redirect it across.
To try and balance
Yes,
it.
yes, in order to bring his left side on, which was twice as powerful as his poor side, but now is half as powerful.
Yeah.
So such is the improvement that's available with weight training, and it's measurable. It's not like walking football.
Yeah.
We won, no, we should have won. Hello?
Something about sport in general and football in particular, because it's my perspective, Bobby, is I think self-awareness.
Right.
And I was speaking about this to somebody just a couple of weeks ago. Everybody I know that plays walking football thinks they're much, much better than they actually are on the park. And it's one of the catches of Chris being there with his camera.
Yes.
Is people like it when they score a goal or when they make a good tackle or whatever it might be.
Sure.
But most of the time they give the ball away and they don't cover back and they don't move. And that self-awareness isn't there. The thing about your sport is you can't kid yourself on, can you?
And the main competition is with yourself, not with the opposition.
Yeah.
So
And
there's no resentment.
Yeah,
but there's no resentment. When you get stronger, you're stronger.
Yes.
You know it, and the guys you train with know it.
Yeah.
So there's no jealousy factor.
Uh-huh.
And if there is any competitive mindset, the guys that train with you, they want to become as strong as you, so they watch what you're doing, and they try and improve on what you're doing by them doing extra.
And the result is in your control.
Yes,
Pretty
all the
much.
time.
I know nature can get in the way, obviously. But we're talking
No. Because I'm not operating at world level with these guys.
Yes.
Nature
It's
can...
within your own
Yeah, I can
boundaries.
make up for poor genetics.
Right.
Paul Crilly.
Whereas if I can't kick my own arse, I'm never going to be a football player.
Yeah, right.
And I could still start training and get more powerful, get healthier.
And how? Yeah. And live longer. Because you're improving your circulation factor every time you do it. And circulation is everything. Everything.
Let me touch on a wee thing we've not spoke about before, is the portability of your sport as well.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was out, I think I was on a surveillance or something, I was in the car anyway, and it was late at night and I was ready for sleeping, truth be told, and I had hurt my hip or I had done something stupid, and you got me to do some exercises sitting in the driver's seat
Yes.
of the car,
Yes.
tensing up and releasing and
Yes.
whatnot.
Dynamic tension, isometric tension, yeah.
So anybody with a few wee weights at home
Yes,
could start training.
but not at the same level as they would do in a group.
Yes. So you'd move on to
The
that.
group therapeutic factor is unbelievable.
Right. I think,
Unbelievable. And the progress they make is much greater, much quicker.
yes.
And the progress is what you're looking for, because you wouldn't have... John Mullen, for example, who's a great example.
But John,
John's become exceedingly powerful now. He's 74. And he started
he's
when
a
he was...
big lump, isn't he?
Yes. But when he was
I've not
72,
seen him for
he's,
ages.
oh, he's a big lump, okay. Yeah, he looks like a gorilla. he's very happy with his weight training.
Right.
So much so he trains here once a week with me in the gym, and he set up his own gym in the back garden, which he calls the Fat Club. He bought a special hut and had the concrete base put in first, then they built the hut round about him, he bought his own equipment, and he trains 2 days in his own gym and 1 day here with me in my gym out the back. So and the improvement in him is frightening. He's regained his youth, in fact.
Right.
He's become so powerful, he can't believe it himself. He was attending a doctor because he had bad lung problems, right? And I said to him, what lung problems have you? Oh, I get out of breath. You get out of breath. So you die, really, because when you don't breathe, you're dead. It's kind of
Yeah.
in and out's a function that's priority
I
for
never
life.
knew you were a doctor, but that sounds...
Being out of breath, it's not an expression that makes any sense, but his doctor told him that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, must be right then.
Yeah, must be a doctor said that. Anyway, he doesn't get out of breath anymore now, and he's got a 300-pound deadlift at 74 years of age, which is pretty
Is that good?
Well, if you want to try it, let's go out to the gym right now. And you can have a go.
I'll take your word for it.
Right, well, it's nearly 3 bags of coal. It's heavy.
What's a bag of coal?
Well, it used to be 100 weight, right, 112 pounds. So, but
I get the idea.
John's power improvement is he'll bench 200 pounds, lying on his back, pressing it off his chest, arms only. At 74, that's tasty.
Yeah.
I know youngsters, teenagers that could never live with John in a gym. Just couldn't live with John in a gym. And he's developed that strength over the last couple of years. He's overcome, he had an inhaler because he had lung problems.
Yep.
That he never ever had any lung problems. He doesn't have any now.
Right.
He doesn't use any inhaler.
Because you'll increase the lung capacity.
Of course. And efficiency.
As you expand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now,
You're almost converting me here. That's how good this is.
well, you should be weight training, you know that. You know that. I've had you in the gym before years ago.
So what we're
It was
getting
too
at here
strenuous,
is
but
that...
see, you're an ex-policeman, so anything strenuous is out of the question.
Yeah. So walking football, your contesting is only catering for a tiny percentage.
Yes, it's a segment.
If we're serious about people's health as they get older, then we should be seriously considering. In fact, it's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer.
Weight training
and
should be.
weight training covers everything, every aspect. And it doesn't matter what your capabilities are, or even what your limb facility is. If you have only one arm, you have only one leg, weight training still can be done.
Okay, Bobby, I think there's lots more we need to explore here, and I want to leave something for people to contact us to subscribe.
We're not scratching the surface.
I know.
Here.
What I want you to do before we finish, not scratch, is tell us a wee bit, because I know a wee bit about your history working with guys like Capes and guys. Do a bit of name dropping for me and tell me about John Paul and...
Well, John Paul Sigmarsson used to say, he was great, Big John Mullen loves the expression, he said, there is no reason to be alive if you can't do deadlift. I think that's quite profound.
Yeah, definitely.
And Big Mullen says that in the gym before he pulls any big ones, you know, and it's...
Yeah.
These things fire people up. Jamie Reeves, I was on the phone to Jamie the other day. Jamie keeps in touch
That's
all
our
the
world
time.
champion.
World's strongest man, yeah. Boy from Sheffield. In fact, I was doing a bit of business with Jamie last year. Big Mark Higgins, whom you've met. You've met Mark, 6'9", 28 stone. Lovely big guy.
Yeah.
Again, one of the world's strongest men. Magnus Ver Magnusson, he's now the head referee for the world's strongest man.
Who was it that broke the record at Bellahouston twice in one night? Did I dream that, or was that a story?
No, it was Kazmaier.
Kazmaier.
Yeah. He broke a deadlift record, and then he broke a dumbbell press record. Yeah.
In the same night?
A seminar, the same night. But that's because all the boys I had trained at Bellahouston, in fact, there's a big story about that. That was a great seminar. They were all there to encourage him, and with the crowd at his back, Glasgow crowd,
Yeah.
lunatics, 700 Glasgow lunatics who lift weights, cheering you on.
Yeah.
So 2 world records was just a matter of form. That's what I do. What night was it? Wednesday. Yeah, I do that on Wednesday. You know, it was...
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it himself. He was the current world's strongest man at that time. And Big Capesy's been a pal of mine for 45 years. Spoke to Jeff just last year. He's not in great health just now. He had ticker problems and things. But he's still healthy enough to train, and he coaches.
Right.
He trains youngsters and oldsters,
Right.
as I do.
Yeah.
Not as fervently because he's less active than me. Jeff was very big when you get to 30 stone, but he's 6'6", he could carry it. But when you get to 30 stone, it affects different joints and things.
Yeah.
So he's not in great health, but he's still in his mid-70s just now, although he can't walk about the way he used to because he's still heavy.
Because these guys were the elite. They were training day in and day out. They were taking a terrible toll on their bodies. Ultimately.
Yeah, and they didn't know as much then as we know now, because it was in the early stages. It's like, if you go back 100 years, there were only 3 or 4 supermen,
Right.
strong men in the world rankings. But as you've come on now, I think there are 36 top-ranked strongmen.
Okay.
And there are many competitions now, and it's increasing exposure on telly. The advent of YouTube obviously gives great exposure to these things. In fact, if you want to find out anything about training, or watch me training, or the kids training, or my grandkids training, punch up Preston Power.
Preston Power on YouTube.
On YouTube, and you'll see it. The link for Preston Power will be in the description below.
That's for your YouTube channel.
Yes.
With Preston, young Preston breaking the world record and all the bits and
Preston
grandchildren.
Crilly,
Yeah.
My daughter named him, her married name is Crilly.
Right.
Big Mark Crilly's Preston's dad. But she gave the wee fella, my surname is his Christian name,
Brilliant.
Preston.
And it suits him down to the ground.
Oh, it suits him, yeah. And he's already broken his own world record deadlift twice on 2 separate occasions. And now he can pull double it. I changed the bar to a small bore bar, steel bar with Olympic ends on it, so it can still hold the Olympic plates. But his hands are so small, he couldn't grab the full Olympic bar properly.
Of course.
It was a pinch grip.
Right.
But now that I've got the thinner bar, he gets a good grip of it. So his deadlift is it's improving exponentially.
Does he enjoy it?
Loves it.
Loves it.
Loves it. He's got his own weights in the gym, his own sets of dumbbells and all. So has Ethan. My other
brother?
No, his cousin.
His cousin, sorry. Yeah.
My other daughter's boy, Ethan Robert White. He's Robert after me. He can deadlift 2.5 times his body weight.
What age is he?
9.
Oh.
He's the talk of the school. He goes to Jordan Hill School, and everybody, all the boys in his year and the years above and the year below, all the kids go on YouTube these days. So Ethan's bench pressing and deadlifting on YouTube, and I've got him doing a full workout on YouTube on the Preston Power channel. So you can see Ethan training. He's 9 now, but he's exceedingly powerful.
Yeah.
He's a very strong.
He's not getting bullied then.
No, he doesn't get bullied. He's just an ordinary wee boy.
Yeah.
He's not built like a gorilla or anything, but the power he can produce is phenomenal. But Ethan's been weight training now for 7 years, and he's just 9.
He was a late starter then.
Yeah, he was a late starter, whereas Preston could lift weights, and I've got film of him lifting weights before he could walk.
Right.
And he'd be able to say that all his life now. And when he leaves uni, I'd like him to leave university with a PhD. I'd like him to be about 6'4", 6'5", and weigh 22 stone with a PhD.
Yeah.
I think that's a full package, and that's his parents know that's what I want for him.
You've got him leaving uni and he's not left nappies yet, Bobby.
Not yet, no.
No.
No, he's through in the living room just now, as you know.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to mess with him, that's for sure.
No, but he's a great boy. He thinks because Ethan trains, Preston loves training with Ethan. His big cousin trains, his papa trains, his other grandfather trains, his dad trains. He doesn't
know any different.
He thinks everyone has a weight training gym, a powerlifting gym at their house, and they all train with weights. That's what he thinks everyone does. And we take him when we pick the kids up from school, we take him round in the car, and he knows all Ethan and Ruby's friends at school. They go, oh, hi Preston. He talks to them and high fives them, and they've all seen him on the videos,
yes. And
they all know he's got the world record deadlift. Now he'll be able to put that in his CV,
yes,
along with his PhD. Yeah. I like that.
Whoever he's dealing with will know the minute he shakes his hand, Bobby. The minute he does that, they'll know.
They'll know when he walks in the door,
yeah.
Because he'll just crush them, yeah. But they'll know when he walks in the door, and that's what I want. It doesn't make you stupid, it just makes you strong.
It's not a bad way to finish off there, but we've got so much more to discuss, especially on our new crime channel, Crime Time Inc. I can't wait to pick your brains for some of that stuff.
Well, the fact that I trained multiple murderers.
Don't give it away, no trailers here.
What, the special unit in Berlin? I was the strength coach, eh? I know.
Thanks, Bobby.
That was good fun. Anyway, thanks very much, Simon. Thanks, Chris, I appreciate it, and all the crew. Thanks, guys.